What's up guys? Chitufahadungs here. Welcome to Chapter 2, Module 2 of the Anamorphic Cookbook. In the previous video, you learned the difference between anamorphic lenses and adapters. In this one, we'll talk only about lenses and the differences you'll experience at different price points. After all, how can something like Hawk or Ari cost upwards of 40 grand and others like Surrey just over 700 bucks? The key differences here are standards. Cine lenses usually don't come in single focal lengths. They're designed as part of sets and have matching visual qualities, like Atlas's A set of 40, 65, and 100 mm, or B set of 32, 50, and 80 mm. They also have similar size and weight and are optically engineered to cover a certain film size, more commonly Super 35. Apertures are usually constant through the set and they're measured in T-stops instead of f-stops. They follow film industry standards that have been in place for years to ensure compatibility with support gear such as filters and matte boxes. They also use standard gear sizes for iris and focus rings and have a common placement for those rings across the set. This way, when you change lenses, you don't need to adjust your follow focus or iris motor positioning, saving time on set. Different focal lengths in the same set have the same focus throw and even the same spacing between the focus distances. So once you master focus with one lens, all the other lenses perform the same way. Cine lenses also don't change the size or telescope when zooming or focusing, and feature identical or similar minimum focus distances. Oh, they always come in PL mount flavor. Cine lenses have a whole company history behind them. You know exactly what you're getting when you rent a Cook, for example. You're getting the legendary Cook look. When using the Atlas Orions, you can have basically two different looks to the footage, depending on the T-stop that you're shooting at. That's a creative decision they built into the design, allowing you to create a more vintage vibe when shooting wide open, but clean up nicely as you stop down. And this applies for their whole lineup. You can check the extra links in the description to get more info on various cinema anamorphics, including new brands that are getting a foothold in the industry, such as Chameleon, PS Technique, or Glasswork. When it comes to consumer anamorphic lenses, the first thing to go out the window is standardization. I'm thinking here of SLR Magic, Surrey, and Vazen. While they're at a much more affordable price point, you will sacrifice various rigging and support aspects that cinema lenses won't. These sacrifices might not seem much at first, but as your productions grow, anything that you can simplify or save time on will make a difference. Surrey's first and third lenses didn't offer focus or iris gears, while the second one did. The list of compatible mounts changes for every new lens. Plus, all the mount options are too short to be used on the most popular cine cameras. No EF and no PL mounts. When they came out, no one knew if they'd make a second or a third lens. You could be buying into a dead end, since every launch was a surprise. Vazen has wildly different sizes through their MFT base set, and also released focal lengths in a staggered manner, with almost a year and a half between the first and the third lenses. Their target market was only micro four thirds cameras. Although performance holds up, the qualities and builds of each lens are different. They're a set and their looks match, but they have fundamental design differences. I've pointed this out to them before, so I'm curious to see how they're going to develop their full frame set. SLR Magic offers two sets. The PL set has 1.33 squeeze and oval inserts for stretched bokeh, while the MFT set is 2x squeeze, and they follow some standardization as all the lenses have the same size, the same minimum focus and gear placement, but they don't have the same maximum aperture or sensor coverage. Besides that, the focus rings sit at the very front of the lens, with rotation and travel while focusing, making it challenging to use a matte box or a variable ND. When you compare cine anamorphic lenses and consumer anamorphic lenses, you might be able to shoot beautiful images with either, but only one of them can guarantee consistency, performance, and a look that has been thoroughly researched and engineered. Take glasswork, for example. They carefully design how their flares turn out by coating specific elements to absorb or reflect specific wavelengths of light. Or think about the many times you've seen Hollywood DPs talk about how they wanted a particular look when using Panavision lenses, and Panavision provided modified lenses to achieve that look.
In this movie, the director and cinematographer wanted us to deliver a C-series lens that was reminiscent of the 1970s period, but at the same time create an organic roll-off with a higher bit of contrast to reflect a lens that can hold up to modern shooting situations.
Cinema lenses aren't made for a run-and-gun scenario. They're big and heavy. Every time I try to improvise shooting something with the Lomo, and more recently with the Atlas lenses, the rig gets heavy. I need stronger focus motors, I need lens support, I need a sturdier tripod or sturdier arms. But when you're in a more professional production environment, and my basic definition for this is when you have at least one AC, then cine lenses will make a huge difference on your shooting pace and gear compatibility. Consumer anamorphics will require you to adjust things once in a while, but they're a much better fit if you're shooting solo, or if you can't afford cinema lenses, but you also don't want the hassle of dealing with dozens of pieces needed to make adapters work. Consumer anamorphics are making a great push in our market, and it's great to see more of them popping up with time. We'll circle back to cinema lenses and budget later in this module when I talk about owning gear versus renting it for specific projects. To get more on this, hit subscribe. If you have any questions on the topic of cine versus consumer lenses, shoot them in the comments below. I'm putting together an epic on-a-budget anamorphic lens test, comparing the various lenses on the market that could be called affordable. So stay tuned. If you want more cookbook, check the join button below for a list of the amazing extras that you can get for only $3 a month, including unlocking some early videos right as you sign up. I hope you learned something new here today, and I hope to see you again next week. Chito Verhadens, out.